Peace is war. We will achieve peace through military might if necessary. Okay, sure you will. Where have we heard this nonsense kind of talk before? This is crazy. I don't even know where to begin with everything that's been coming out today and yesterday. It is absolute madness. I'm going to be watching the chat as we go through because I'm pretty sure that you're going to think this is crazy and madness already. Because all I've seen the last 2 days is, and let's give some context here, right? We are very close to a peace deal with Russia and Ukraine. And even if you look at the 28 points, there's really 2 contentious points left on it. Well, I would say 1. I think the second one's been resolved. So what is this contentious point? It's that Russia wants to keep the land and Ukraine won't concede that land. So that's the sort of contentious point. That's the last part of the negotiations. Apart from that, all 27 points are pretty much agreed. They've come to an agreement on it. Okay, right. So this is the last part. Well, what have you seen ever since this peace deal was almost announced? What have you seen? It has been non-stop. Ursula, Kaya, Rutte, everyone, Macron, Starmer, they are going nuts. Absolutely crazy. I've never seen so many military kind of announcements in a long time. So why is it? Hold on. We're about to get to a peace deal, really close to a peace deal, and now all of a sudden they're saying, and I'll prove this to you, I'll go through the stories, they're saying the only way to achieve, this is a quote, the only way to achieve war is at this point, the only way to achieve peace at this point is through war. Can you believe that one of the foreign ministers actually said that? This is insane. I'm going to be watching the chat. Let me know. By the way, thanks for everyone who did the Black Friday through Cyber Monday sale this year. The courses went... I honestly, I hardly got any sleep. Emails, going back and forth with everyone, getting everyone enrolled. It was insane. It was the biggest course sale I've ever done. So it was just mind-blowing. So thanks everyone who got involved in it. The link's in the description, by the way. I don't think there's much left to take, but you can have a look if there's anything that you missed out on. Anyway, let's get into all of this. Right. These are all the articles. This is what I've seen non-stop. So this came out yesterday. NATO warns it may hit Russia first as hybrid attacks intensify. So this came out. And by the way, there's loads of these. It's non-stop. And I'll tell you about Canada is now getting involved. Canada, why are you getting involved? Nothing to do with you. But you want to get involved in this. Okay. NATO is considering more proactive measures in response to Russia's escalating hybrid warfare, including cyber attacks, sabotage operations, airspace violations, steps that could extend to what officials describe as a potential preemptive strike on Russian targets. So this admiral, what did he have to say out of NATO? He's saying the alliance is reassessing its traditionally reactive posture as Europe faces a surge in hybrid incidents linked to Russia. Well, this has been going on for 3 or 4 years. Recent cases include the severing of undersea cables. That was a long time ago. Widespread cyber. This has been going on for 3 years. And drone activity, which, again, yeah, some in Romania, some in Poland. They crossed the border. There wasn't any damage done, but they're saying all of a sudden now we need to respond to this. He said that while offensive cyber responses would be the simplest option, given that many member states possess such capabilities. Right, so there's the first one. Politico went even further. Europe thinks the unthinkable, retaliating against Russia. So they're looking at doing conventional, they're talking about Germany here, conventional military acts against them. So they're saying Russia's drones and agents are unleashing attacks across NATO, right? And now they're planning to hit back. Well, let me know in the chat. I'm going to be looking at this as we go. What do you think is going on here? I think it's obvious. And I'm watching all these reports, and I'm listening to these news reports, and I'm looking at what people are saying. Yeah, everyone's saying madness. And it's obvious to me. How can anybody that's like rational, logical, non-emotional, look at this and say, yes, it's about time now, this week, that we should send all the troops, NATO, to retaliate against Russia. This week, this is why. It's like, no, it's obvious, guys. It's obvious. They're losing control. They're losing the grip. They already got rid of Zelensky's right-hand man. His internal... Okay, think about that. His own internal anti-corruption service investigated him, and he's resigned. That's a coincidence, isn't it? His own service investigated him for corruption. Oh, that's a bit of a coincidence this week as well. It's like, come on, how can people not see all of this? How can people not see, what is going on here? It's all theatre, as someone's just actually put on the chat as well. It's all theatre. And Kaya as well saying, and Ursula, Russia needs to pay. They need to pay for what they've done. They've already paid in all of their frozen assets. They've already paid out a lot. So, again, I'm not exactly sure what they mean by they need to now they need to pay. It's like, huh? And this let's continue on with this. This goes on and on and on. This just keeps going. Okay, so they're talking about cyber all the way through to hybrid attacks, to a surprise NATO-led military exercises. Okay, NATO-led military exercises, according to 3 diplomats. Not 1, not 2, but 3. They said the Russians are constantly testing the limits. What is the response? How far can we go? That was the Latvian foreign minister. I don't know if it's a man or woman, but it said a proactive response is typical. Right, I've got to talk about another point here. Right, I remember years ago, and you probably remember, it said we need more women into these military defense roles, and we need them into these roles. I'm telling you, these women that are in these roles, they're worse than the men. They're worse than the men. Lagarde, Ursula, Kaya, these defense ministers, who was it? Was it Denmark or Estonia? I was watching the other day. She's she's fairly attractive, brown hair looking woman. I was thinking, this woman is not very bright. She's not very clever, because they were asking her questions, and she said, "This conversation is over." And she walked off, and I was like, "No, that can't be real. Surely, is that real? Did that just happen?" And she's just answering absolute nonsense. Kaya Kallas, or however you pronounce her name, I think she's Finnish, Estonian. She said something crazy as well the other day. She said, "We will not negotiate with terrorists. We won't negotiate with Russia." And then someone asked a question, and she said, "We demand a seat at the negotiating table with Russia." What? Oh, okay. To me now, this is just a clown show. It is an absolute joke at this point. It really is. Okay, so what does she say? A proactive response is needed, and it's not talking that sends a signal. It's doing. Okay, so, right, here we go. Overall, Europe and the Alliance must ask themselves how long we're willing to tolerate this type of warfare, whether we should consider becoming more active ourselves in this area. That was German State Secretary for Defense, Florian, had that to say. I mean, these just go on and on and on with everything. What was this one? Okay, after deploying 10,000 troops last week, yeah, check this out. This is where it gets intense. So they deployed 10,000 troops to the border, which is understandable. I think that's completely understandable what Poland has done. He's calling it state terrorism. Yeah, I get it. If I was the Polish Prime Minister, I'd do exactly the same thing. So no qualms with that. After the incident, the EU's foreign policy chief, someone tell me how you pronounce her name. Is it Kaya? Kaya? Kallas said such threats pose an extreme danger to the bloc, arguing it must have a strong response. And people say men are the ones that are all for the war. Last week, Italian foreign minister, what did this person say? In the face of hybrid attacks, unveiled a 125-page plan to retaliate. What? Not a one-page plan, not a 2. 125 pages to retaliate. He suggested a European centre for countering hybrid warfare, a 1,500-strong force. Everybody needs to revise their security procedures. Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw had to say, Russia is clearly escalating its hybrid war against EU citizens. We got some tanks, we got some loads of images here. We've got, all this sort of stuff. Let's go on to the next one then. This was out of Bloomberg. And this was a really, really big one. I'm just going to check the chat a second while we're going here. Let's just see what everyone's having to say. Kaya, she got exposed for corruption. Yeah, she did. I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of these EU leaders have criminal records. Are you aware of that? Don't take my word for it, okay? As with all things, don't take my word for it. Look at this for yourself. I think Lagarde is one of the worst. So even though she's banned from holding any sort of office, like she can't be a CEO or a managing director or hold a company or whatever because of she's got a criminal record. She's actually been convicted, criminal record. She can't hold most positions. She's the head of the European Central Bank. Someone explain that to me. How is that even possible? But a lot of them have. Do you remember Eva, she was the Greek, was she the assistant president? I think she was the vice president of the European Union or the European Council. So she was only second, right? She was taking all this bribe money. They found it in her walls. It was in the wall. They had to break the wall and they found all this money. She was taking bribes. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And then when she was about to go to court, this has been going on for years, by the way, they tried to quash it. Ursula, all of her friends tried to quash it. And then they tried to quash it with some sort of diplomatic thing. Like, she can't be prosecuted because she's a high-level diplomat. It's insane. These EU leaders, it is unbelievable what is going on at the moment. Yeah, the chat is blowing up. This is a big chat today. This one's blowing up. Okay, so here we go. This is out of Bloomberg, right? NATO is preparing to confront Russia with limited US support. The worst case scenario is now a possible one. European troops fighting off an invasion largely alone. Is it going to be them fighting off an invasion, or is it going to be launching? Let's change this. Strike through. Launching an invasion alone, most likely, because I doubt the US is going to get involved in an invasion. So they've just done this new war game. Remember what I said about war games? The more war games you see, this means that we're getting closer and closer. So this is something that we're seeing now. Just war game after war game after war game all the time now. So this was in Transylvania. So they showed European soldiers under French command, not US command, French command. And it says the US has reduced its military presence in Europe. By the way, this is gaslighting. This is all propaganda. They keep saying that the US has dramatically reduced its presence in Europe and reduced its military. It's absolute BS. They've reduced by 700 personnel. Check this for yourself. Don't take my word for it. It's 700 troops that they removed, and they weren't combat troops anyway. So it really annoys me that they keep putting this in all the media, that the US has abandoned Europe and they've pulled all their troops out. No, they haven't. They've reduced it by 700 troops. It's annoying. Anyway, you can see I'm getting worked up about all this. It's really annoying me, all this stuff. Okay, so they've got this whole exercise. We don't need to go all over all of it, but it says the war game in November offered a glimpse of the alliance's likely future as President Donald Trump reduces US deployments in Europe. Now remember, war game, remove the word game, it's a war. They're practicing for a war. As the White House pushes for an end to the war in Ukraine, its threats this month to shut off remaining military support for Kyiv raise the possibility of European powers having to defend Ukraine and perhaps even the entire European frontier without the US backing. It says it's by no means clear the Europeans would succeed. Romania and other European officials at the exercise I'm going to try and pronounce this. Let me know if I get this right. Romanians. Let's get this on screen. Where's this? Is it Kinku? I'm going to guess this is Kinku. Let me know if I got that right. About 260 kilometers north of Bucharest by road, voiced concerns about how long it would take for NATO allies to make it to the front. What else have we got? German foreign minister said that according to Berlin's intelligence, I love that word, intelligence. In other words, they make stuff up. Russia could be able to attack a NATO member in the next 4 years. Russia is really trying to test how far they can go. Again, who is it? Kaya Kallas yet again. And it is looking like, to be honest, if anything does kick off, it looks like Romania is where all of these exercises are being focused. They're all sort of focusing. Oh, here we go. Look at this. It's in black and white. US reduced its troops from 1,700 to 1,000. So there we go. Exactly what I said, 700. So it looks like Romania is going to be where this might kick off. They had lots to say about the US abandoning them and things like that. This is the first time in 70 years the Europeans no longer perceive American security guarantees. Right, so they had a lot to say about all these things. And we could go on and on and on, and how they're planning. And Romania's just got 150 billion euros to stave off Russia and all this sort of stuff, right? But this is just non-stop. Look, this came out in the week as well. NATO versus Russia. Who would win in a war? Well, we won't even go through what they said. I thought it was quite funny. But then we go on to the other stuff. This is out the Telegraph. William Sitwell, I've never seen this reporter before, so I had to look him up. Military service is just what our lazy, selfish youth need. Britain should follow France's lead and send young people away. Okay, William Sitwell, who are you? He's the Telegraph's restaurant critic. Oh, wow, you've got loads of credibility, William Sitwell. We should all listen to you as a restaurant critic about sending our young people to the front line. Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thanks for your advice. I saw this as well. Ursula, if you don't follow her on X, it is great entertainment. Not because of her posts, which are weird. We'll talk about Canada in a second. But because it's absolutely brilliant entertainment. You just got to look at the comments. We won't show that one. But you got to look at all the images and all the comments. It is absolutely very entertaining to read what everyone has to say. Everyone has to say. Autocracy, or the rule of the few, creates a better order than rule by the people. Yes, that's what they think. Father of Ursula von der Leyen had that to say. There he is, Mark Carney as Mr. Burns. But let's go on to the other one I wanted to talk about, because I think this is a key one. Canada has clinched a deal to join Europe's 150 billion euro defence scheme. So I want to know if you're a Canadian watching, because we don't need to go through this whole story. But what they've basically done is they've now joined the defence scheme for Europe. So they're going to be, it's quite intricate and complex, and it's still being negotiated, but they are now part of the defence scheme for Europe. And Ursula, oh yes, Carney and Canada, we've got this military alliance now. Why? If you're a Canadian, why? Do you want to be part of this military alliance? So if Europe's at war with Russia, why is Canada getting involved? Why? It makes no sense whatsoever. I just think this whole thing's crazy. I think the whole thing is absolutely crazy, and they're deliberately trying to destabilize everything just as this peace deal is being put together. It's a tough one, to be honest, because I can see it's so close. It's just this last point, but this last point is a huge point, right? Just giving up territory, although you're not really giving it up. Russia's already taken it, so Ukraine is not really giving up the territory. It's already gone. Okay, trying to get that territory back now will be incredibly difficult with all the dug-in positions and everything they've put there. It'll be incredibly difficult. So, I don't know. It's a difficult one. Let me know your thoughts on it. I don't have a solution to this final point, but I just think if you can get to peace, then try and get to the peace. But the last thing I think we need now is all of these people, some of them unelected, making all these decisions. Even a restaurant critic saying we need to send our... I mean, almost said something naughty there about that restaurant critic. But this is the thing. These people just need to go. They need to go, mind their own business, focus on politics, then stay out of all this other business and just leave people alone, is what I say. Thanks for watching. I'm Canadian and I want none of this from Kensington. Yeah, definitely. All right, thanks for being a subscriber. Check out the link below that we talked about at the start. And that's about it. Thanks, take care, God bless, see you on the next one.